Hey there, this is Crazy Horse. Happy 4th of July weekend. I got nothing great to tell you. They've locked down the restaurants. Cheers. They locked down the restaurants and the beaches in California. Again, because of the bullshit reports on CNN and everywhere else from the CDC that the wave 2 has hit us. And, you can just see the bodies piling up at the morgue and the sick people piling into the emergency room, and everybody's telling me I'm full of shit because there's a virus out there that's killing people. They killed my aunt in Chicago, and I don't like to talk about it because I don't know all the details, but she fell down, broke her hip, had to go in for surgery, and, next thing you know, she's got pneumonia in the hospital because the hospitals aren't sanitary and they don't keep you safe. And you're supposed to be up and ambulatory. If you're laying in bed for a couple of days, you get pneumonia, especially if you're old. And so they told her she had COVID and stuck a ventilator down her throat, and she died about a day later. Like I said, I don't know all the details. I don't want to offend my family in Chicago. But, if it was my mom, I'd be suing the hospital and the CDC and whatever else, the health department in Illinois, because she was fine before she fell down, and they killed her within a couple of days, sticking a ventilator down her throat. The ventilators are deadly. Pneumonia is deadly. They give you pneumonia if you get sick. There's no vaccine. It's a bunch of bullshit. There's no virus. The CDC's own website, I posted it on my site. The CDC's own website says their supposed COVID test is nothing more than an antibody test that checks if you have raised levels of stress hormones and antibodies in your blood system. You could be suffering from, lockdown or common cold. And they're going to say you're positive for COVID. They have no proof of that. They have no evidence of it. In fact, I posted a month ago, and I did on a podcast a month ago, there's no evidence that coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, is an actual virus. Nobody's been able to positively isolate it, and it's a load of shit. Believe me. So let me show you that post I'm talking about. Here it is right here. What do your results mean if you test positive? A positive test result shows you may have antibodies from an infection with the virus that causes COVID-19. However, there is a chance a positive result means that you have antibodies from an infection with a virus from the same family of viruses, such as the one that causes the common cold. So you're going to be diagnosed with COVID. You're going to be put on a list. You're going to be treated in a certain manner. You might be ventilated because you got the common cold. And the statistics are going to say you're sick. And if God forbid, if you die, you're going to be part of the statistics, which are all complete crap. And so we're locked down for wave 2. Who knows why? Maybe to destroy the economy, maybe to get Trump out of office and create such havoc and unemployment that the sheep that watch CNN and follow that junk and believe the New York Times are going to say, oh, this is all Trump's fault. He's not protecting the country. And then they're going to bring Biden into office with whoever his running mate is who's going to end up being president when he's certified as, suffering from dementia within the first 6 months of his presidency, if he wins. But I don't think he'll win anyway. I think Trump will win. But I'm a libertarian. If there was a libertarian candidate that had a chance of beating either of them, I'd vote for him or her. But I sure wouldn't vote for a Democrat. I probably won't vote at all, but I never do. And, to me, nothing changes. whoever wins, the banks run everything. I mean, the Fed is buying bonds now for every country, every company in the U.S. that they want to buy. Coca-Cola, some part of Berkshire Hathaway, some subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway, and Warren Buffett apparently doesn't want their investment or their backing of his bonds and loaning him money. But the end's coming when the Federal Reserve, which is a cartel of private banks, is not only buying U.S. Treasury bonds and all our national debt, but they're also buying companies. They're buying the debt of companies. Pretty soon they're going to be competing with you and me buying stocks on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. And, maybe that's why all this is happening. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut, but it sure looks like a conspiracy. There sure as hell is no coronavirus. I've never met one person suffering from it or sick. I drive by the hospital every time I go to Whole Foods in Encino, in Tarzana, and I drive by 2 hospitals. I've never seen one person or one vehicle or one emergency vehicle anywhere near those hospitals since this lockdown started. There are no sick people. I videotaped it. I posted it on YouTube on my page. There's nothing there. Maybe it's not a scam. Maybe people are just idiots. Maybe the news is just pushing it, and everybody in the government and the CEOs of corporations have to follow what comes out of the CDC and what comes on CNN, because otherwise they're going to get blamed if anybody dies and they're going to get sued. Maybe it's not a conspiracy. Maybe it's just stupidity. But it's hard to tell, and it's hard to judge when the big banks are buying up everything. And, I guess we're going to get another round of stimulus checks. Maybe that'll help keep you afloat. I've been working through this whole thing remotely, so I'm fine. I'm lucky. Touch wood. I've been very lucky. I've been one of the lucky ones that's been employed through this whole thing and making money. So, I've been buying stock and paying my bills and doing what I need to do. But I wonder how the rest of the country, the rest of the world is surviving. I really do. If this thing drags on to November to obstruct the election, as the Dems are hoping, I just see a lot of bad stuff coming. A stock market crash, another bailout of the big corporations by the Fed, more printing of money, and then the mortgages start to fail. End of August, people are going to have their 6-month or 5-month deferral on their mortgage run out. And then what happens? Then the houses go up for sale and the buildings, and then the banks start taking ownership of your property. And what happens? Homelessness goes up. 40% of the homeless people in this country live in California, out on the streets. And it's going to get worse. There's going to be more homeless people, and they're all going to be moving to California because we have such beautiful weather here, and we don't seem to do anything about stopping homelessness, so they're just camped out everywhere. And, I feel for them. I feel sorry for them. But, hey, at least it's warm. I wouldn't want to be homeless in Chicago. That's for damn sure. I was reacting to a post on Facebook today where I'm shadow banned and nobody sees my posts anymore. I get like 2 people seeing every one of my posts. I reacted to somebody saying, they posted this chart. I reposted it about the... let me get out of here. They reposted. I reposted the chart of the media bias chart. Let me pull this up. See if you can see that. So this is the media bias chart, which shows in this blue box here. The neutral, non-left, non-right, non-biased. And, look who's in here. AP at the top, the Weather Channel. Well, thank God they're not biased. NBC, CBS, Bloomberg, ABC, PBS, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, The Economist, CNN, Huffington Post. These are all nonpartisan, neutral media outlets. And if you believe that, you're nuts. You haven't been awake for the last 6 years or the last 6 months. These are all far left leaning, media outlets, even the AP. For years, independent watchdog groups have been saying the AP leans far left. There's super liberal. I mean, CNN, super liberal. I mean, TMZ's almost in that box, and Vice is just outside of it. Give me a break. CNN, Newsweek, Washington Post, New York Times, NBC, CBS, ABC, AP, NPR. These are all super left-leaning. So if you take what's neutral here and you realize that's far left, then Fox News and the rest of them, which they're saying are right, which they clearly do have a right bias, I admit that, but they really are neutral, right? If this is left, what they're calling neutral, and this is what they're calling right, Washington Times, Blaze, these are slightly right, but they're actually neutral compared to what they're calling neutral. You know, if you shift the whole graph over to the left, this is neutral, and these guys over here, these are, you know, alt-left, psychotic left. MSNBC, for example, Slate, Democracy Now! I mean, those are far left. And, you know, somebody posted, like, I only read in the green box. I only watch in the green box. That's why they put this chart out, so that when you read this, you can pat yourself on the back and say, yeah, I'm being brainwashed. I'm swallowing the blue pill from CBS and NBC and MSNBC and Reuters. And I'm neutral. I'm well informed. I'm not brainwashed, because they're telling you you're not brainwashed. You're in the blue box or the green box, most reliable, most neutral, whatever you want to call this. But this shit's all far left. I mean, you might as well have the National Enquirer in there. This is all garbage. All garbage news. So where do you get your news? That's what was going on in this discussion on this Facebook posting. Where do you get your news? That's a damn good question. If you know, let me know. I mean, I get my news from people posting on Facebook and Twitter, independent articles, independent opinion pieces. It's hard to find out what's biased and what's real. That's our challenge in this world. Certainly the mainstream media is absolutely biased, including Fox. You know, they're biased slightly to the right, but, and at least they admit it. You know, I mean, if you're watching CNN, you're getting a load of crap. You're getting a download straight from CDC, straight from Dr. Fauci, straight from whoever runs the Democratic Party, George Soros, or whoever the big donors are. Probably has something to do with the big banks. So where do you get your news? More and more, they're banning conservative voices. PragerU is banned on Facebook. Stefan Molyneux, who's been a really brilliant thinker. He's been on YouTube 14 years. His page vanished this week. No explanation, no chance to back up his work. Just gone. And this guy's not biased left or right. He's a thinker, and he discusses openly any topic you want to talk about. Banned. I'm shadow banned. I can still post, but I can't promote my postings, and nobody sees them. I went from getting like 1,000 views per post to getting 2. After they told me I'm restricted. I'm unrestricted access. For what? Because I don't agree with COVID. That's the only thing. I haven't said anything else. I haven't said anything racist or vicious or insightful in any way. I've just said I think COVID's a joke. I think it's a hoax. So I don't agree with CDC. CDC is the yardstick. It's the rule. It's the measure. It's official. It's not a government agency. Just like the Fed, it is not a government agency. It's a private company. It's always been a private company. They own something like over 52 patents for the vaccines they recommend that you inject in yourself and in your children, in your infants, and in your pregnant wives or girlfriends or whoever it is. They own the patents. They're getting rich off it. They make billions per year, billions of dollars. So is this whole thing about greed? Is the whole thing about money? Yeah, it is. If you think it's not, you're wrong. There's no COVID. I don't wear a mask. I won't go anywhere where they force me to wear a mask. Occasionally I have to go into Whole Foods and I'll wear a mask for a few minutes in there, but I won't wear it anywhere else. We went to a couple of restaurants last week when they were open. I didn't wear a mask, and they seemed okay with it. But now it's closed again. You know, the jackasses, California Governor Newsom and idiot Mayor Garcetti in L.A., they've locked everything down again, just in time for the 4th of July. I got to bring up that cartoon with Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber saying, you know, hopefully they'll let us out of lockdown by the 4th of July so we can celebrate our freedom. I mean, it's not even a joke anymore. It's real. So anyway, I don't want to be a downer. There are places to get information, to get news. Social media. You have to dig through the crap. You got to find it. Hopefully you find me informative and helpful. I'm trying to be unbiased and tell you the truth of what I believe. I try to find sources to back up the articles I read and the things I talk about. I do the research. I spend hours on it, actually. I don't always post it. I don't always, footnote all my research, but I try really hard to know what I'm talking about and to check many sources and get many sides of it before I talk about anything on a podcast. So I hope you're well. I hope we get out of lockdown soon. I hope you don't lose your house, and I hope you get another stimulus check and you're able to get back to work soon. I'm pulling for you. This is Crazy Horse. Thanks. Bye.